Live from the campus of Penn State University, this is PSN News. It's Wednesday, April 27th. We all need to know about new business coming to State College and city efforts to process conviction pardons.
We also have more on a recent car accident in the county, along with entertainment, sports, and weather. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Aidan Torok.
And I'm Abby Chachoute. This past weekend, PharmaCann Incorporated opened the State College area's third medical marijuana dispensary. The VeriLife dispensary will be located at 1820 South Atherton Street in the building formerly owned by Home D Pizzeria. All three medical dispensaries are now found within the same 5-mile stretch on South Atherton Street. This will be VeriLife's 8th location in Pennsylvania. The center will include a selection of different products available to registered Pennsylvania medical marijuana patients. This summer, the company plans on expanding the store to provide, quote, an enhanced experience, end quote.
The Pardon Project launched this past Friday after a press conference held outside State College City Hall. The project will help individuals get convictions cleared from the records. Volunteers for the Pardon Project will be taught to assist individuals when filling out their applications for a pardon. Penn State professor Sharon Barney, State College Borough Council member Global Balachandran, and Krista Henry found the organization. Penn State Board of Pardons have been processing more pardons than ever. 80% of people are getting granted a pardon after they get a hearing in front of a 5-member board.
A fatal collision occurred in Walker Township last Friday around 3:45 p.m. Bellefonte resident Shirley Thompson rear-ended a 50-year-old Howard man on State Route 64. Police report that Thompson was headed eastbound and hit a guardrail on the north of the 2-lane street. She was pronounced dead upon her arrival at UPMC Williamsport Hospital due to sustained chest trauma. The Howard man was not injured in the crash. The State Department of Transportation's data cites 7 fatal crashes reported between 2011 and 2020 in the township.
Former Keystone Medical Management Solutions owner Scott Likens was sentenced to 15 months in jail. Likens, the former owner of a State College medical billing company, pleaded guilty. He withheld personal federal income, Medicare, and Social Security from his employees' checks. Likens is also forced to pay $1 million in restitution and serve 2 years of probation. Finals week is only days away. Can we hope to see some nice weather for outdoor studying? Gracie Eckerly has the details in this week's weather report. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Penn State News. I'm Gracie Eckerly with your forecast for the week ahead. Tonight we're looking at a high of around 36 degrees over the night, and it's going to be partly cloudy with winds that are going to sustain around 10 miles an hour. And then if we took a look at your forecast tomorrow, out the door, 9 a.m., those morning classes, all full of sun. That's going to stick throughout the day. We have a temperature around 40 degrees at 9 a.m. Noon, it's going to be around 45, and then getting down to 5 p.m., it's going to stick around the 50s and still sun throughout the rest of the day. And then taking a look at this weekend, we have a bunch of sun and 60s for the Movin' On Festival on Friday. And then in Saturday and Sunday, you can look forward to clear skies and warm temperatures all weekend. It's going to be the best weather this weekend. That'll be all week, so definitely take advantage of that. And then taking a look at the whole weekend or week forecast. On Wednesday, obviously, we had that overcast day and a bit of those brittle temperatures coming in, which was really a shock from our weather last week with temperatures in the 80s. Moving on to tomorrow and Friday, both super sunny, but you are going to have temperatures getting a little bit up there, 52 tomorrow, and then on Friday, a high of 58, and then lows both around the low 30s. And then going to Saturday and Sunday, you've got that partly cloudy weather. In the morning on Sunday, you're going to have lots of sunshine with a little bit of clouds, and that's going to stick and be the same for around Sunday. Your highs are going to get up into the low 60s, however, but we're going to get that cloud coverage on Sunday night, and that's going to stick for Monday and Tuesday. Monday, you're looking at clouds, and the rain's going to come in on Monday night around 8 p.m., and that's going to stick all throughout the day with on and off showers on Tuesday, but at least the temperatures are in the 60s. That's all for your weather update. Coming up, Malia Brown has the latest in sports after the break.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Malia Brown with your sports update. Former Penn State women's basketball guards Tova Sable and Maddie Burke will be finding new homes at UC Davis and Villanova. Each guard spent 2 years with the Lady Lions. Burke was first to announce her new destination on April 19th. Earlier this month, the Doylestown, Pennsylvania native entered the transfer portal and was quickly landed by the Wildcats head coach Denise Dillon. 4 days after Burke's commitment to Villanova, Sable announced that she was transferring to UC Davis. Sable, a Stockholm, Sweden native, entered the portal back in March and declared her transfer to California on April 23rd. As a result of a stunning upset against Princeton in the semifinals of the EIVA tournament on Thursday, the Penn State men's volleyball team lost its chance to compete in the NCAA tournament. The Nittany Lions were not handed an at-large berth on Selection Sunday, with the 2 spots going to Long Beach State and UCLA. Princeton, Hawaii, North Greenville, Pepperdine, and Ball State all received automatic bids to the tournament as each team were conference champions. The Nittany Lions made a raging comeback to the Tigers on Thursday, but gave up a 9-6 lead in the 5th set. Penn State went into the EIVA tournament as the #1 seed in the conference and were even ranked #2 in the country. Multiple reports cite that the Chicago Bears wide receiver Byron Pringle was arrested Saturday. He was caught doing donuts with a suspended license in his sports car, along with a child in the back seat. Pringle, who won a Super Bowl title with the Kansas City Chiefs in 2020, was driving a Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat when he was spotted on State Road 56 in Pasco County, Florida. After running his license, it was determined it was suspended for financial responsibility as of February 10th, along with another suspension for failure to pay a traffic fine as of March 7th. When Pringle was told he was under arrest, authorities said he ignored commands and was verbally confrontational. He was eventually arrested on charges of driving with a suspended license and reckless driving. That's all for your sports update. After the break, Jaso Bardo has the latest updates from the entertainment world. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Jaso Bardo with your entertainment update. The student-made film titled A Deer in the Woods is set to premiere at the State Theater tomorrow night. This feature-length film centers around a group of students who set out to make a horror film at a cabin in the middle of the woods. When Abby, the lead actress, mysteriously disappears, her understudy Harper assumes the lead role. Upon her arrival at the cabin, Harper begins to notice that the film crew is hiding a dark and evil secret. She must uncover the terrifying truth that she is in fact living in a real-life horror film. Will she survive the night? There's only one way to find out. Tickets for A Deer in the Woods are on sale for $10 on the State Theater's website, and the show starts tomorrow at 7 p.m. Next week during Finals Week, the university libraries will be offering stress-reducing games and activities, as well as coffee and snacks as part of their De-Stress Fest. From Sunday, May 1st to Tuesday, May 3rd, students can stop by the Mann Assembly Room in 103 Paterno Library for free coffee and snacks. There will also be food and activities at other locations across campus. Locations include the Engineering Library, the Earth and Mineral Sciences Library, the Physical and Mathematical Sciences Library, and the Architecture and Landscape Architecture Library. Any questions or accommodations regarding De-Stress Fest can be directed towards Megan Gilpin. She can be reached by email at mcg13@psu.edu. Back on campus, Penn State recently held an event titled Amplified, the Spread of Misinformation. Field reporter Nick DeLuca has the details. Take a look.
3 faculty members within the Penn State Belisario College of Communications spoke at an event entitled Amplified, the Spread of Misinformation. The panel held a discussion on ethics, focusing on Joe Rogan's podcast, The Joe Rogan Experience. A Q&A session followed the discussion of what steps Spotify should take to address this recent controversy.
One of the things this panel addresses is a lack of critical engagement with the media.
The controversy began after an episode featuring a doctor was filled with what experts label COVID misinformation. Rogan has found himself in a few other controversies, with one of the most recent ones being when he came under fire after a video compilation of him using the N-word on episodes over the years was posted online.
We're drawn to content that prompts anger, prompts shame, and that content sticks, right? And engage. That's how we judge engagement.
Everyone's going to use social media, right? It's fun, it's entertaining, it's how you connect with your friends. It is a very, very, very poor way to get news information. So use social media to interact with your friends, use social media to pass the time and have fun. Do not use social media to get news and information.
In a recent statement, Spotify CEO Daniel Elk said that, quote, canceling voices is a slippery slope and that it's critical thinking and open debate that powers real and necessary progress. From the Foster Auditorium in Paterno Library, for Penn State Network News, I'm Nick DeLuca.
Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard are currently in a heated defamation trial. Heard wrote an op-ed for the Washington Post claiming that she was the victim of domestic abuse. Though she never explicitly named Depp in the op-ed, she wrote that she's a, quote, public figure representing domestic abuse. Depp says that the piece by Heard cost him lucrative acting roles and is suing her for $50 million. The couple was only married for a year from 2015 to 2016. Both of them have accused the other of physical violence during their relationship, yet they have both denied the other's claims. Depp concluded a grueling 4 days on the witness stand on Monday, and Heard is expected to take the stand in the coming days. That's all for your entertainment update. After the break, interview anchor Rachel Suga will be speaking to Connor Griffin, a Penn State student interning for Barstool Sports. Stay tuned.
Welcome to PSN News. I'm Rachel Suga, and with me tonight I have Connor Griffin, a Penn State senior majoring in broadcast journalism. During his time at Penn State, Connor took advantage of some incredible opportunities that allowed him to grow within the industry. Connor, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you. This is actually my first time in this studio while it's all been done up, and I love it. You guys are doing a great job. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you.
Thank you.
So just to get right into it, could you explain a little bit about, first of all, what is Barstool, if anybody doesn't know, and also what is your job at Barstool?
Sure. Barstool Sports is more of an authentic fan take on sports. It's not the buttoned up, what you see on ESPN or Fox Sports with the suits and, on camera, talking about sports from a very analytical perspective. It's just more like, the whole reason why it's called Barstool is because it's just a couple guys like hanging out at a bar. Like, how would you talk about sports? And it's expanded into just beyond sports, and it's grown, and it's been in every single pocket of pretty much pop culture and entertainment and everything. So it's definitely a booming company, especially with the rise of social media and the internet and everything. But what I do is I work with Penn State Barstool, which is a Viceroy program under the umbrella of Barstool Sports. There's about 300 Viceroy programs at 300 different colleges. And Penn State Barstool, we are proud to be the biggest one in terms of following and just in terms of interaction and everything. So I make videos for Penn State Barstool, and then I started making videos freelance for Barstool HQ in New York, and then that's how this whole endeavor came about, I guess you could say.
Look at you. Good for you.
It's been a fun time. I love editing videos. I probably edit videos every single day. And yeah, my Mac is my best friend.
That's
Don't quote me on that. Don't quote me on that.
Classic communications student at Penn State University. Yeah. Something that I've been thinking a lot about since I found out that you were able to come and talk to me was just kind of the controversy that did happen with Barstool and our own Marie Harden. She's the dean of the College of Communications. And just basically the whole conversation that occurred where it's like, hey, does Barstool create possibly a perpetuation of hypermasculinity and other ideas like that? So I was just wondering, how do you feel that the culture is on the inside of Barstool?
Yeah, I can't necessarily speak towards what it's like in the office, just because I haven't necessarily been there. Everything I've been doing is freelance. But I will say, a lot of their executive board is female, and they have so many huge female voices and everything like that. Obviously, Alex Cooper is the female Joe Rogan now. And Brianna Chicken Fry, who came to Penn State, was super nice, and I got to meet her, which was great. She's booming now, too. I think it's definitely changed over the years, and I'm just looking forward to getting there and seeing it for myself. But yeah, can't exactly speak. That was also what happened with Dean Harden. That was before I was even really invested in the whole world. So, but I definitely know that it's there, and it's something that has always been on my mind.
I feel that.
Yeah.
I kind of assume that you heard a bunch about that as you were starting your career with,
Yeah,
with
which is crazy to
Barstool.
say. It's crazy to say career, but like,
Right.
yeah, we're at that point now where it's seniors and everything like that's starting to come about.
Absolutely.
I finished my last class ever. I don't go to a single class the rest of my time here, which is really sad to say.
Wow, that's
It's all coming.
lot.
It's all coming full circle. Yeah, it's
It's-
happening.
It's been a long time. 4 years
Yeah.
goes by fast and slow at the same time, doesn't it?
Yes, well, especially when you throw in a pandemic, that takes up a year essentially. So yeah, no,
Absolutely.
it's been crazy.
Yeah, no, that's taken up a lot of our lives. It's taken up a lot of the news. But also, I mean, so in the workplace, that's something that's taken hold of everyone. So you being remote and you creating videos for Barstool, you were one of many that just took a huge innovative leap. What was the beginning part of you doing that?
Yeah, honestly, I don't want to say I credit COVID, like I'm giving COVID like a thumbs up, like thank you, but like I would not be where I am today if not for COVID. I'll never forget Jim Nachman, who is an awesome person who works in Penn State Athletics. Also, the amount of stuff that he has to deal with on a daily basis is crazy. But he is one of the people who I first met right before COVID happened. And I met him at a resume review, and we were just about to go on spring break, and he was like, hey, when you're on spring break, like do some content, make a podcast, do whatever, like just, and send it to me. Because I wasn't doing anything for spring break. I wasn't going to Puerto Rico or, Cabo or whatever like that. I was just staying home. So he was like, go do work and then send it to me. And then spring break turned into an 8-month spring break or however long it was because of COVID. And I just kept doing that and sending him stuff and everything. And his whole point was like, if you are just sitting on your couch and like eating Doritos, like there are people out there who are working on their craft and getting better than you.
Right.
And that's absolutely going to come into play when you apply for jobs and everything like that. So I was just doing it just because I was like, oh, I want to like keep up and I want to use this time that I have, this free time, to now be able to hone my craft and really work on it and everything. And then it turned into people finding the videos and people finding what I was doing and just spiraled into this huge thing. So yeah, if not for COVID, I would have like just completely not have even seen this world as a possibility. Yeah. I didn't even use Twitter. I used Twitter like an idiot, like prior to this whole thing, like just tweeting out random thoughts that I had. But now I actually use it as like a platform to put out my work and to showcase that. And just how I use social media as a whole has completely changed. And so yeah, I do have to kind of thank COVID for that, because if not for that, then I would not have gone down this path at all.
Honestly, and like, I think it really pivoted all of us in sort of a creative renaissance, and a social media just boom. I mean, obviously it was a big thing prior to COVID, but like it's more important than ever, especially business-wise, to just put yourself out there like you have.
I would definitely agree with that. I spent more time on social media during the pandemic, which I wish I kind of cut that down. But in terms of producing content for social media, I'm definitely happy with the way that I was able to go about that. And like I said, super thankful for the opportunities that came about because of that.
Right. I totally agree. And so just to pivot just a little bit, so another issue that, going back to Barstool, that happened was, so Dave Portnoy, basically the face of Barstool, recently, earlier this school year, had sexual misconduct allegations, and obviously that was all over the media as well. But that really made me wonder, have you, in your time at least, even freelancing with them, has that changed the way that they operate? Did they talk about that with you? Did you have any conversations?
None of those conversations, just because, again, I wasn't at the office, and I was always like this college kid, and it was always like remote and everything like that. So yeah, I can't necessarily speak to that, but yeah, I'll let you know if there is anything that comes about because of it. I don't know. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me grill you for a solid 5
Sure.
minutes of your life. All right, and after the break, Aidan and Abby have the latest news from across the nation. Stay tuned.
After a 5-year legal battle, Virginia Attorney General Jason Miyares ended efforts to prosecute 2 U.S. Park police officers. The officers were involved in the 2017 shooting of the 25-year-old unarmed motorist B. John Gazar. In the lawsuit, the prosecution sought for the officers Lucas Vineyard and Alejandro Amaya to be charged with manslaughter. Miyares agreed with Judge Claude Hilton's decision to dismiss the case. Miyares said in a statement that he will, quote, will not perpetuate the continued prosecutions of 2 officers who were doing what they were trained to do under tremendously difficult circumstances, end quote. Gazar's mother expressed her outrage over the decision and hopes that the Court of Appeals will reject Miyares' drop of the appeal. The family has also filed a civil suit which is pending until a final decision has been made by the Court of Appeals.
Nebraska legislator approved construction of a $53 million canal that will draw water from the South Platte River located in Colorado. The state of Nebraska is undergoing a severe drought and is in dire need of water supply. The state's solution is to divert water from a river they share with Colorado. Colorado and Nebraska both have rights to the South Platte River because of a 1923 compact. The canal is not supposed to drastically affect Colorado's water supply.
California resident Jeremy Hansen was arrested last week for allegedly threatening Merriam-Webster Company. Court documents report the 34-year-old made these threats through anonymous online messages over dictionary definitions with references to gender identity. Many of these comments made contain hate speech aimed at the LGBTQ community and threats against company employees. The company closed down their headquarters in Massachusetts and New York after one of the comments included a bomb threat and other acts of violence against employees. Hansen faces up to 5 years in prison, 3 years of parole, and $250,000 fine if found guilty.
Over 20 active fires raging across the state of New Mexico last Friday. Governor Michelle Lohan Grisham says this is something to be concerned about because the normal wildfire season doesn't start until May or June. So far, over 200 structures in the state have burned. Wildfires have become more prevalent in the west because of rain coming later in the fall. Around 50 citizens were called to evacuate in northern New Mexico. That concludes our show tonight at PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Facebook at PSN News, on Instagram at Penn State Network News, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/PSN News.
Have a good night and stay safe, Penn State.